Good morning everyone. I'm here in the beautiful surroundings of Camperdown Park and unfortunately it feels like the last days of summer. It's a gorgeous morning just now. However, I'm here to tell you about our online Flower and Food Festival. Unfortunately this year we can't have the Flower and Food Festival in its normal physical format based here in Camperdown due to the pandemic. It's really a shame that we can't do that, but sadly because of the pandemic, obviously it just wouldn't have been possible. Normally at this time, Camperdown would be a hive of activity with marquees being set up, staff, volunteers, horticultural groups, chefs, all sorts of people scurrying backwards and forwards getting ready for the show. This would have been the 32nd Flower and Food Festival. It still will be the 32nd Flower and Food Festival. The only difference is it's online. I know I'll really miss coming to the event, which is a firm part of our events calendar in Dundee, and we normally have about 20,000 people coming to this fantastic park to enjoy the show. However, you can still enjoy the show by heading over now to Dundee Flower and Food Festival online, where you'll still be able to see all the beautiful plants, flowers, there'll be memories from previous years. If you get yourself a virtual ticket and take a picture of yourself with the ticket, you'll feel like you're there. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the submissions from the various plant nurseries, committees, voluntary societies, all the kinds of things you would normally expect to see when you come to the show physically will still be there online. Unfortunately, some of the things we won't be able to do, but we'll do as much as we possibly can to encourage you to keep supporting the show, and hopefully we'll get back to the real thing next year. As food plays such a large part in our Flower and Food Festival and has done for the past 20 years, I'd like to take just a minute to say a thank you to the Food Insecurity Network, which has played such a significant role in keeping our most vulnerable families fed during this pandemic. They've had an army of volunteers, many groups being set up just to cope with this pandemic, and I really think we should show our support for them by thanking them, and I'd like to pay a personal tribute to them and a big thanks for all they've done during the pandemic. I'd also like to mention how important it is for us all to support our local food and drinks businesses here in Dundee during this time, who are trying to get back on their feet, many of whom would have been at the physical Flower and Food Festival if it had been on this year. But it's really important for us to support them at this time, so if you want to see what's best to eat and drink in Dundee, head on over to the Dundee Eats Guide, which is also available online, and you'll see lots of places to choose from where you can support our local businesses. Finally, I'd just like to mention our local food growing strategy, which was recently approved at committee. Just to say that we're going to be looking at much more places where people can grow their own food. Community allotments, green spaces that can be used for food. So if you want to be inspired into growing your own food, I've actually managed to grow some tatties myself in my tiny wee back garden this year, which I've just started eating, delicious. But be inspired, go across to Dundee Flower and Food Festival online, which is open now. If you're inspired to grow your own food, get on it, and I hope you have a great time and hope to see you in the flesh again next year. Thank you.